The Mario cartoons were a meme.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Super Mario Show. Brothers Super Show.
So, despite being a filthy zoomer, I watched the heck out of the 3 Mario cartoons growing up. Renting DVDs from your local library and using it as your personal blockbuster can make you discover a lot of things. I remember a lot from this show. The 5 million movie references the original Super Show had, the in-your-face cave setting and theme song of the Mario World 1 and Mario 3.
That's the President of the United States!
So this episode is called Reptiles in the Rose Garden, and let's cut to the chase. This is the episode that has stuck out to me the most. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel drunk describing the premise of it to any of my friends. I mean, let's look at the start of this episode.
America.
But Sweetums, America's in the real world.
I want America for my birthday!
So, funny story, I didn't really process the backstory of this show at first, despite it literally being said in the theme song, you know, that Mario and Luigi got transported here from Brooklyn to save the princess. So hearing the real world casually in a random episode threw me off back then. So, the plot of this episode. Bowser, aka King Koopa, caves into the wishes of her temper tantrum throwing daughter, buys her the entirety of America for her birthday, thus making Wendy here president.
But Kootie Pie.
Oh, right, I forgot. All the Koopalings have hilariously stupid names. So, this specific show was made to promote Mario 3, hence the title of it. And one of the main things they did to differentiate it from the Super Show was introduce the Koopalings, you know, like Mario 3 did, and then have episodes focusing on them. What always confused me is why they even had to give them different names. Wouldn't it have been more effective at promoting if they had used the names from the game? Not to mention how stupid these names sound. One of them is literally named Bully. Wow, Bowser, you were setting him up there. Great father right there. Actually, wait, Bowser is a pretty great father if you've seen those parental controls ads. We also got Cheatsy, see what I just said about Bully. We got someone with the same name as a Netflix show, Hip and Hop, because it's the early 90s, guys. Kookie, and of course, Kootie Pie. What even are these names?
Well, you see, there are usernames on that popular app Coopcord. We can't use our real identities or those pesky plumber mods will ban us from every server due to being tied to King Dad. That chump ruined our social game. Fuck him!
Okay. So King Koopa just barges into DC and teleports the entire White House to the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's enough to make Kootie Pie president or
Empress of America!
As an aside, Kootie Pie is voiced by Tabitha St. Germain, who would later become well known for voicing Rarity in Friendship is Magic, and it's really obvious to me now looking back.
I want it!
I would appreciate it if you'd stop calling me Pony. I am a lady, and I wish to be addressed as such.
The most obvious of this sounding like Rarity is when she's reading out her new laws.
Any handsome boy who does not ask me for a date will be turned into a rock.
Bro, imagine you're some high schooler living in DC, just walking to school or something, only to see the White House get teleported away and some teenage turtle thing with a bow threatens to turn you into a rock because you didn't ask her out. Oh yeah, this episode also confirms that at least Kootie Pie is 16.
You are turning sweet 16.
Makes me wonder what the canon ages of the other Koopalings are. The big teenagers is weird in my head, like, they're eternally 6. As you can tell, I was always fascinated by the Koopalings, and I hope if Illumination makes more Mario movies, they eventually show up because I'm curious on how they'd be portrayed by modern standards. So back to the president, he's trapped. And looks like, well...
I'm one of those generic presidents they use on TV to keep shows from becoming dated.
That and a faceless Tom and Jerry character. But what I'm really focused on are the guards here.
That guy in the funny helmet told me his boomerang was more powerful than your fireball. So go ahead. Let him call you a wimp. Are you gonna let him do that to you? Ow! You're not gonna let him get away with that, are you?
You see, Koopa guards are like orange cats. They all have to take turns sharing one brain cell.
I'll put America's ruler where he'll never be rescued. At the bottom of the Mushroom Sea.
Whoa, Bowser! Didn't think we'd be seeing a full-on assassination attempt from you in this show. Seriously, you're literally planning on drowning the president. That's a pretty evil deed there. You're instantly passing Ganon on the, evil scale tier list here. You're getting close to the level of a Fire Emblem villain.
Help! The president can't swim!
You know, if something like that came out in the real world, it'd trend on Twitter for weeks. Speaking of the news, I wonder what the news stations are like over in the real world. This just in, some weird turtle thing has stolen the White House and is claiming her turtle daughter as the president. The anti-drug PSAs have been reported to not work and we're all clearly still on them. So Mario dons his frog suit and dives down to the White House to, quite the interesting song. So like Captain N, a lot of the episodes have musical numbers consisting of 80s pop music. But in this case, they are sung by the Koopalings and it sounds beautifully cheesy. I can at least tell the actors for the Koopalings had fun recording them. I'm lucky the episode I found has a version where they do sing, cause a lot of them would later get replaced by generic background music. The same generic background music. Seriously, it sounds really hilarious in some instances. But we'll get to that episode another time. We gotta focus on the First Lady calling Mario the Secret Service.
Are you from the Secret Service?
Speaking of the White House staff, where are they? Are they in the White House or back at DC? Also, if the president is down, shouldn't the vice president take over? Is Kootie Pie or King Koopa just that OP that they took down every person next in line, including the US Army? And do they now possess the nuclear codes?
Any handsome boy that does not ask me to prom is getting their ass nuked.
Okay, sorry I asked. Besides, they have bigger plans.
Koopa's loading up the Doom ship for an attack on London, Paris, and yeesh, Brooklyn.
Well, technically, if Kootie Pie took the White House and thus took over all of America, she already got Brooklyn by proxy. But wait, Bowser is going full terrorist now, I just realized. You know, it really shouldn't be that shocking since he does similar things in the games. It's just more noticeable when you apply it to real-world locations. We don't focus too much on that, though. Gotta see Mario and Luigi stowing away on their ship. Side note, I have found my new favorite Koopa guard. I didn't really have one before, but here we go.
Putting on a little weight, aren't you, Mario?
You stupid.
I could see which guard got to use the single brain cell today. So Mario saves the White House. Sort of.
But my husband can't run the country under these conditions.
I'm just imagining Mario trying to teleport the White House back, but it keeps ending up in more and more ridiculous places.
My husband can't run the country under these conditions.
And we end with Kootie Pie defeated, causing her to throw a temper tantrum and for King Koopa to finally punish her.
Go clean your room, and you better do it.
You know, in a way, this episode is educational. Please be a parent and punish your kids if they are genuinely being a brat. Mr. Bowser King Koopa actually learned something from this. All he needed was a national tragedy, a possible historical event, and maybe some nuclear codes in this universe's real world. The more you know.
Now you know something.
I think what made this episode stick out to me the most was just how much of the normal world is used. Most of the Mario games are set in these fantastical lands. I didn't really have any background humans until Mario Odyssey. Also, that Mario backstory wasn't really brought up a lot in the content for it that came out at least when I was growing up. Obviously, that's not the case anymore. The Mario movie is literally about Mario's backstory, and a good chunk of it is set in the real world. But I always just kind of assumed he always lived in the Mushroom Kingdom. Baby Mario and Baby Luigi's existence didn't help much either. I made the hell out of those two in Double Dash. I imagine it was temporarily retconned by Yoshi's Island and then just never mentioned again until recently. So being that kid with the rented library DVD, learning this really was a more you know moment for me. Most the library has ever taught me. So I end this video with the moral telling you all to go out to your local library and rent Mama Luigi.